Well, my new friend T-Dragger suggested I get a tripod for my videos from now on. I do not have one with this stepladder to hold this thing, I guess. Alright, we're going back together with the tire on the rocket here. I rolled it up under the fender, which most folks should be able to do by themselves. And then I sat on the right hand side and got it up under my knees and slipped it on there. I'm going to show you kind of how I did that without totally removing it. Put my knees under it, picked it up, slid it right into place. I just took it off and just set it right back in there. So that's how that's done. That's step one. Alright, step two is we're going to be putting the axle back in. As you can see, I've already got it part of the way in. What I did, I got under the bike again and lifted it with my knees, and I worked the shaft back in. You should always put grease on the shaft so it'll slide in and out. Next time you want to take it apart, it'll come apart easier. Whoever put this bike together was not afraid of the grease. They put it on there pretty good, so I didn't have to put any on it. It was really clean. I made sure it was clean. So now I put the axle in. I'm leaving it 2 or 3 inches sticking out so we can get on the other side and put our spacers in. Alright, here we are on the other side of the bike, and you can see the axle sticking through just a little here. And what we're going to do now is, you saw in the first video the spacer that fell out. I said don't forget the spacer. Well, this is it. We're going to put it back in first. Alright, now we've got to put our brakes back on. And what you need to do before you do that is reach in here with a wrench in between the pads, and there's a piston here. So what you'll need to do is reach in here and open these pads up just a little bit. That'll give you room to fit it back over the rotor whenever you go to put it back together. Alright, let's see what we can do about putting this brake caliper back on now. I'm holding the brake pads apart so I can slip them over the rotor. I slipped it right down there into place. I'm going to go to the other side of the bike, push the axle through. Alright, I just used my foot a little bit to pick up that tire so that it would line up and we could get this axle back in, but that's that. Now we have to put the bolt back in here for the brakes. Alright, since y'all already saw where the in the other video where the nut goes, everybody knows that. That goes back on there. I've already tightened the axle down in it. I've already tightened the bolt down to hold the brakes. Now, this is real important because you'll see this thing's flopping because we opened up the pads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach up here to my brake pad. And I'm going to hit the brake pedal a few times, and I've got brakes again. Okay, that just opened those pistons back up, pushed them out. Now we're tight on here again. Very important, you need to do that. Don't take off on your bike and realize all you've got is front brakes now. It's a big surprise you come up to an intersection, so make sure you pump up those brakes. Alright, next order of business. Put a muffler back on. We'll just slip it right back over the exhaust pipe there. It slips on there fairly easily. You have to wiggle it a little bit to get it in there. that one is tight. You got to line these little guys back up. Your bag rail. Right, that nut fell out of there. There's a little slot that it goes into. It's real fun to try to get it back in there. It's not too bad, but there we go. We get it now. All right, tighten these two up. We'll tighten up this clamp down here, hold our exhaust back on. We're done with the exhaust section. All right, folks. She's all back together, everything's tightened down, and she's ready to hit the road again. I hope that was some help to you guys. First time I've ever done it. Just thought I'd document some of it. I will tell you that I didn't mention Loctite, which I used on the brake bolt. You need to do that. Not the red stuff, because you do want to be able to take it apart. Use the blue stuff. And I didn't mention torque values, because the torque value in Texas is as tight as you can get it before it breaks. I know it's different everywhere else, but this is Texas, and that's just how we do things. Now, how we know it's right before it's going to break is beyond me. It's just part of being a redneck, y'all. But I hope this was some help to you guys and maybe save you a little money. I also mounted my own tire. I took the tire off the rim and mounted that on there by myself too, and maybe I'll get to show you guys how I did that. That is a redneck invention, y'all. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it helps you guys out.